Smith and those coaches up there deserve a lot of credit. You give all those credit to those guys. Those guys went out there and did a great job today.
And your kicker 5 for 5, and then what's your kicking situation moving forward?
He stepped up tonight, man. All we're going to talk about is the night led. You worry about moving forward when you move forward tomorrow. Right now he did a great job. He went out there and nailed the kicks. And that's all you can ask of the young man. That's what he did, what he's required to do. And we got a big time win.
All 4 of your defensive rookies had a significant milestone tonight. Is this what you imagined in April?
Well, we talked about, all throughout the offseason, those guys having significant roles for us, whether it was rushing or whether it was ball hawking in the back end, and that both of those were in display today. I can't say enough about those young guys. I can't say enough about what they've done. They learn how to play football every single day. They learn how to live this NFL life every single day, and they're loving it, and they're embracing it. And we got a whole team of people that help us do it.
How much is the pass rush and pressure on the quarterback contagious? Is there some momentum involved in that amongst your guys?
No, it's just a lot of pressure from Mr. Blank to get after the passer, and those guys really respond when he comes down. Those guys really respond when we bring those guys in. No, all joking aside, we brought those guys in to do that, and I don't know if it's contagious, but it's fun, and those guys like to do it. We talked about having to stop the run early. Those guys really went out, buckled down on the run, forced these guys to be one-dimensional. They was able to get after them.
Anything else?
You talk about challenging the offensive line. What did that look like this week and really kind of getting?
No, I think it just starts with me just being honest with you guys, open and honest, being transparent, telling you guys that we didn't play up to our standards last week. And when I say that to you guys, I reiterate that to our team. I reiterate that to our owner. I reiterate that to everybody that's involved in what we got to do. There's no hiding behind curtains. There's no sugarcoating things with us. We just speak the truth, and that truth came to reality today when those guys came out and responded in a big way. And I knew they would. We got a bunch of grown men up there. You're talking about Jake Matthews. You're talking about Bergeron. You're talking about Chris Lindstrom being our leaders, along with Newsel. Obviously, Elijah stepped up. Man, those guys are grown men. And they got a lot of heart, they got a lot of character, and they want to come out and play well.
There was a moment there at the end when you were running the clock out with the run, and Chris Lindstrom kind of motions over to the side, like, keep going, keep doing it.
Yeah, I think he did that every single snap, Tori. And he was very physical, and you want to stay away from him on the sideline when he gets like that, particularly me.
Bijan had a big day today. Was that part of the plan to feed him?
Yeah, that's part of the plan every single week. Bijan's a dynamic football player. He's unbelievable. We got 2 outstanding backs, and to watch those guys to be able to rotate out there and execute like they did. I don't even know how many yards they had, but I know it was a lot, and I know it was enough to win the football game.
One more quick thing about Rook and Brandon Dorless specifically. That these are 2 guys that came into this year very hungry, and I'm curious just seeing what they've done throughout training camp in the first 2 games of this season, kind of how they've embodied that.
We got the ability to mature. We got the ability to grow up. We talked about it all last year. It is really hard as a rookie to go play in the interior line, and those guys got not enough play last year. And we got those guys ready, and this year they are ready to go, and it is on full display, and they're showing it at a very high level. And I couldn't be more excited about getting those guys out there with those guys. Those interior positions, they're tough. And, when you're talking about putting young guys out there, they're hard to do. But these guys are doing it. Our coaching staff is willing to do it. And these guys have done a great job. And they came ready to go right from the beginning.
What was it like watching Michael kind of navigate this environment and take control of the offense?
This is an unbelievable environment, particularly on those passing situations. So when that stuff happens, to watch the calm, cool poise of Michael Penix go out there and lead us. We only had 1 timeout, I believe, that we had to use because of the crowd. But other than that, man, Mike is absolutely outstanding. He's selfless. He'll do whatever it takes to win, and that's exactly what he did with us tonight.
How difficult was it integrating the kicker? You got, the operations got to be flawless with the snapper and the holder. What did Marquise and you all do to make sure he can come in and make sure he had opportunity for him?
Honestly, we just competed. Those guys, everything's hard in this league, and we expect that to be hard, and everything's required for us to do it the right way. And I got a lot of respect for our special teams coach and what we do, our operation. I got a lot of respect for everything about our guys up front. When you talk about Bradley on the hold, or you're talking about Liam on the snap, all of those things matter. And then he was able to go up there and execute his job and get it through the uprights.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Nice job, Bassity.
Thanks.
Look at Bassity stepping up in the press conference.
First things first, I think we have to talk about the ground game and it really carrying you guys. And I know Raheem and everybody else, offensive line, all week, John, all week talked about, wanting to get that back on track. Can you kind of just walk us through the challenge that was set for those guys going into the week, but also what you saw from them today?
Yeah, so obviously last week we weren't able to get the run game going as much as we wanted to, and we did make that an emphasis this week, and we challenged the guys, and the guys, they accepted that challenge, and they went at it with a head full of steam, and obviously it showed up today, and it was awesome to see, and it helped us win the football game today.
I think Rajon ended up having like 168 total yards tonight. I mean, I know you talked a lot just about who he is for this team, but when it shows up like this, like what can you say about what Rajon means to this offense?
Man, he is who everybody say he is. I feel like he's the best running back in this league, and he shows it each and every day, not just on Sundays, but on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way throughout the week. He shows it each and every day, the way that he practices, the mentality that he has. You can tell he loves this game, and he loves his players, he loves his team. So it's great to be able to have somebody like that. And like I said, man, he helped us win the football game, so it means a lot to have somebody like him.
Yeah, another group that helped you win is this defense, and this defensive performance is probably one of the best defensive performances
Awesome.
statistically from anything the Falcons as an organization have done for very many years. I mean, when you see kind of that side of the ball doing what they were doing, putting y'all in good field position, what does that do for this team and y'all's offense?
Man, it's big time. Coach Brick and Rudy, those guys get the defense ready each and every week, and we saw it whenever we were in camp. We saw it was a different vibe on that defensive side of the ball all camp, and we knew that they were going to display it, come season, and it was awesome. And obviously, whenever the defense is playing like that as an offense, the biggest thing is protect the ball and find ways to get points, and that's what we were able to protect the ball today. I think we lost it one time today, but overall the defense we got about I don't got the stats, but about 5-6 sacks. 6 sacks, so it's big. Whenever you got the defense rolling like that, it makes it easy for the offense.
Yeah, I know y'all probably wanted to put more points on the board tonight. Kind of had some struggles in the red zone. What were the Vikings defense kind of doing when things kind of in that short field? Kind of what were they doing to make that difficult?
They were just executing better than us. I feel like it was times where we were supposed to take advantage of what they were giving us, but I just feel like they executed better than us at that in the game today and that situation in the red zone. But we're going to get back, and we're going to make sure we don't get out executed in the red zone anymore this year. So that's our goal.
To do this on a primetime atmosphere away with the Vikings fan base is very loud. I mean, kind of what happened in those procedural things very early on, and how did y'all kind of combat that later on? Yeah,
miscommunication. Yeah, like you said, it was loud. It was really loud in there. This fan base, they're a dedicated fan base, and they showed up today. But I just feel like we got to be better at communicating, and I always say it starts with me. I'm the quarterback, and I'm the guy that's out there calling the plays. I got to make sure that I get us in the play so that we can go out there and execute at a high level. And in those moments, I didn't do a great job at that. So I got to make sure I do better at that. And I will be focusing on that for the rest of this season, and definitely starting tomorrow. So.
There at the end, the final minutes of the fourth quarter, and y'all are really running the ball, bleeding the clock, and Chris Lidstrom kind of motions over to the sidelines, like, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
What were those guys, especially those guys in the interior, Matthew Bergeron's, Chris Lindstrom's, like, what were they, how are y'all feeding off of them during that time?
It was big, man. Hearing them guys in the huddle, they had a fire in their eyes, and you could tell that they were determined to make sure that our run game today was going to be what it was, and it was awesome to see. And we saw it all week in practice. Those guys practice extremely hard, man, and I wouldn't want to go to war with any other group but them. So it was good to be able to see them do that. And yeah, Chris was telling them keep running the ball, and we did, and we executed. So it was great.
Anything else? All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.